What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 4th, 2019. Happy 4th of July. I think I'm going to set some fireworks off with this video, talking about a very controversial thing. A pullback. A pullback as we're getting very ready to enter a new cycle for Litecoin. A bullish cycle, a bull market, but talking about a large pullback. It's not music to everyone's ears. It's music to my ears. I love a healthy Litecoin, and part of that is a pullback. I want to start this video and preface by saying, if you zoom out on the charts, you will gain a perspective that is invaluable. So I'm going to start on the monthly chart here, and I first want to just point this out to you. If we're looking at the monthly chart, where we are right now, this whole entire area, I liken this area to back here, coming out of the last bear market in 2015, right around the last halving. I liken those two areas. I don't compare this area where we are now to this area. This is the bull market, 2017, right? It's easy to look at this chart and see the similarities and see parabolic gains, and you kind of want to compare the two. You want to put them up against each other. But we're at a different timeline in terms of the cycle of Litecoin. And right now, we are back here in 2015. We're kind of in that range, especially being we're leading into the next halving. First things first, before we leave the monthly chart, just want to point something out. Parabolic gains for a few months, Litecoin, ridiculous gains. This monthly candle that aligns with this halving back in 2015 right here, very large red monthly candle, 70% plus to the downside. What do we have going on here? Well, we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green monthly candles now. Our next monthly candle will align with the halving next in August, next month. And if you're looking at this chart, if your instinct is saying just to maybe be careful, to be ready for something, maybe consolidation, it's not bad to listen to that voice. It doesn't mean you're bearish. It doesn't mean you don't believe in Litecoin. So this video is kind of to give platform to that voice that is in all of our heads saying this could happen. Want to go to the weekly chart. Let's just check out the weekly chart. What I want to point out here is this, the RSI on the weekly chart. We talked about this area. Right now, we have this kind of short-term bounce down here right around the 78 line on the RSI. We have a little bit of rejection out of that overbought area. And what happened at that swing high that we just looked at on the monthly in 2015 before that halving? 70% dip, same thing. Rejection, not quite at the 78 line, but just below it on that RSI. Then we led into some consolidation. And then again, rejection at this 78 line on the RSI, more consolidation above the 50-week moving average, this blue line, and then the parabolic gains in the bull markets ensued. So it's just a word of caution, right? We just hit a very key resistance line, especially when you're zoomed out and you're looking at the cycles of Litecoin. The data that we have, there's only one halving in our history. But we can also look at similar moves of Bitcoin in the cycles of Bitcoin, which goes back a little bit further on the charts, right? So there's definitely data that we can gather that suggests that a pullback might potentially happen. Now, I want to go to the daily chart. So we started the monthly, weekly, now we're on the daily, and we can really get a sense of, I think, what we should look for, at least on the charts these days, right? So it starts on the daily, and then we'll look at the 4-hour. But on the daily chart, I want to just show you something. I want to change this 50-day moving average to histogram to really paint a picture. So we have the histogram up, and really, I want to zoom back. I want to zoom in on the move that Litecoin made where we dipped below this 50-week moving average. You see this huge dip, right? So from that swing high up here, in July, right? July 10th, like 6 days after today, 2015, Litecoin tested the 50-day moving average. We tested it, and this is what you don't want to happen. You don't want Litecoin to break that. It is a huge indicator in a bear market and a bull market. In a bull market, you want to see consistent strength above the 50-day moving average, and you want to see consistent consolidation, even just trading sideways above it. It's very healthy if you want that continued uptrend. So Litecoin didn't do that. You can see, obviously, we just came right down through it, and that happened. Can give you a date range that pretty much happened around 20 days prior to the halving in 2015. So now let's go to where we are right now in the charts, and let's see what we have going on if we're looking at the daily charts. So zooming in now, you can get a sense of, wow, Litecoin is testing a very, very important area, namely the 50-day moving average. So when we're looking at this right now, what we want to do, and we can start on the 4-hour, and we're going to get to that, but the daily chart, we want to see if Litecoin continues to close daily bars above the 50 moving average. It's extremely important, even if we trade sideways into this next halving. So we know that Litecoin broke below the 50-day moving average leading into that last halving 20 days prior, and right now we are 32 days away from this next halving. So is it 32? I think it's 31 days. So you get it, 32, 31 days away from this next halving. What is going to happen in the next couple of weeks with Litecoin above this 50 moving average? I think it's probably one of the most important things you could possibly look for right now if you're wondering what Litecoin's going to do, because everybody's wondering it. If you're invested in Litecoin, everybody's watching it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if we go to the 4-hour chart, we kind of get an idea of maybe a hint of what could possibly come for Litecoin if it falls below the 50-day moving average. It starts here. It's the 4-hour chart. It's the 50 moving average on the 4-hour crossing below the 200 moving average. That's kind of that first sign of downside for Litecoin. So right now, if you really want to zoom in on our charts and kind of watch Litecoin in the coming days, this is probably the chart to do it. Will Litecoin see support above the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, get support and get a bounce back up so we can turn this chart back around? Because right now the 50 moving average crossing below the 200 moving average, this pink line, not a good first indicator. Another thing is potentially what we have in play is a symmetrical triangle right now, and you can kind of see it right here. And we can actually, so you can do it two ways. You can stop it there, or you can bring it back here. We can start it back here, but in my opinion, this is not formed yet. This is kind of in play. This isn't a confirmed pattern yet, but I think it's a good pattern to watch on the 4-hour, especially as we start forming it, this symmetrical triangle, because this touch back here is hard for me to consider a touch. So I kind of have right now 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm kind of looking for one more touch, maybe to the bottom trend line. I don't know, maybe we'll touch it right here going into this apex, and I want to see which way this pattern breaks. So we have targets from this pattern, if it confirms itself, to the upside, probably around, from where we are now, probably around 150, maybe 150 to 160 area. It's actually 153. So target of 153, breakouts for that. And then on the downside, we have a target, and most of you probably won't like this, and that's from where we're trading today, right around 93. So how is this going to play out? And how is this going to play out in the story of Litecoin if we're looking at a monthly chart? Because right now, Litecoin, even if you're just zooming out on the chart, back here, even in the bull market, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even back there, did not get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 monthly green candles. It hasn't happened. Litecoin has not seen 7 monthly green candles. So I'm very curious to see what happens. If we go to the daily chart, we can get some context into my opinion on where Litecoin could go. So first off, important to take the bear market low to this previous swing high in the 140s. and we can chart our Fibonacci retracement, right? So right now in the daily chart, you see the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average running right in between our Fibonacci retracement channel of 618,786, right? So this channel, extremely important. If you've been watching this channel, this YouTube channel, it helps us so often in anticipating pullback. So right now we have the 618 line around $70 and the 786 around 50. That is, worst case scenario, but if you're looking to accumulate Litecoin, the best case scenario, it's probably an area where I don't think we're going to get to. I more tend to believe we're going to get into that $90 area, maybe touch into the 80s. And a lot of that plays into this possible formation in play right now in the 4-hour chart. But I truly believe there's potential for Litecoin to see some consolidation, to settle down a little bit, and to prepare itself for the next bull market. We are getting ready to enter that bull market cycle, everybody. This is just the foundation being laid, very similar to back in this area as we climbed out of that bear market and consolidated a little bit. It is preparation for this next bull market cycle. So have patience in these markets. Zoom out on the charts. Come up with a plan. This can go either way. Litecoin might not consolidate. Litecoin just might continue going crazy, and we might be hitting all-time highs in 2 months. So are you prepared for that? And on the flip side scenario, are you prepared for a big pullback? Nobody can tell you how to go about your portfolio, but you have to take these extreme contrasts decisions, and you have to evaluate your approach the best you can and make your own decision, not listening to YouTubers or people on Twitter. Be careful out there. Be careful out there. But I think be patient. I think it's extremely important to be patient. Anything can happen in these cryptocurrency waters. Let's see what happens, especially with these waters on the daily chart, the 50 moving average. I'm curious to see if Litecoin stays above it. If we break below it, it is the first sign of potential pullback for Litecoin. And I just wanted to throw it out there. I hope you're all having a great day today. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.